And next, I'd like to talk about my favorite Criterion Collection or 2023 Criterion Collection packaging details. So these are little details in terms of the packaging or memorabilia or paraphernalia that's part of the physical media goodness that is the Criterion Collection 2023 release catalog. So this could be anything from the way that the packaging has been designed, or maybe a certain aspect of the packaging design that is maybe separate to, but also related to, or separate from, but related to maybe aspects of the cover art. So we talked about the cover art designs in a separate listing discussion, but now let's talk about the packaging, little details of the packaging. So very quickly, I've picked 5 of my favorite packaging details from Criterion. So let me share with you my 5th favorite packaging detail. And this is for a film which is a re-release, and this is at spine number 428 of a film which is from the filmmaker Alan Barron. And the name of the work is Blast of Silence. And this was also, or is also, a DVD. And one of the great things about the DVD, much like this now current Blu-ray release, is that amongst the things that are included is a little comic book or comic art panel, which is 4 pages total in this folded way, which represents certain parts of the film. And it's also consistent with the type of artwork that we see throughout the rest of the release, including the great artwork that's the cover art design, by the way. But this was something that we'd seen in the earlier DVD. So in many ways, perhaps this might be, right, it's not necessarily a quote-unquote new little detail because it was part of the earlier DVD release from several years back. But I couldn't resist. I think it's still worth mentioning here, not only because it's a continuation of this great physical media design work for Blast of Silence, not only is it a great comic work of certain scenes of Blast of Silence, but again, it's just continuing this trend of little treats, little goodies that are part of the Criterion package. So well done for being able to continue on with this in terms of the Blast of Silence release and this comic book that's part of this. So that's my number 5 favorite little packaging treat from Criterion. Number 4. And I think it's of a film, well, not I think, it is of a film that we've already discussed elsewhere, spine number 1180. And it's this, Thelma and Louise. I mean, this is one of the great releases from Criterion for a number of reasons this year, for a number of reasons. But I think one of those is the packaging. It's the Digipack booklet, or the Digipack style, which is the outer cardboard casing and then the inner shell. I love the little details, like the top has this orange, almost desert-like orange-brown motif, and the inside is the blue, which is like the sky or the car, etc., which I think is great. And then the inner compartment, I think, is wonderful. And what I love about the inner compartment in particular is just the robust thickness of it. It feels like it feels robust, and it has a lot of weight and presence to it. But if I had to share one thing which I think is awesome, is the staple booklet. I love the staple booklet, and I love how it looks like a sort of facsimile of the script, which is again the key component, or the page here, which I think is a key component of one of the great success points of this, and the work of Kalikuri and company in terms of the script and the script process, which is itself its own adventure in the making of Thelma and Louise, which is discussed in great detail as part of the supplements here. So overall, I think this is a wonderful packaging detail. I mean, you've seen great Digipack presentations, but there's something about this presentation and the fullness of it, and the little detail in terms of the facsimile of the screenplay page. I think it's great. So my number 4 favorite packaging component here, and that's for Thelma and Louise. Okay, number 3, and I think it's going to go here. This is my number 3 favorite. Yes, this is it. Packaging overall for the Pasolini 101 set. Again, here I got the show here. It's great, it's grand, it's big, and I love I think I do have some misgivings about the way that the discs are stored. They are stored in the kind of cardboard envelope style, which I'm not really a fan of, but that's okay, because I understand that the Blu-ray itself is resilient enough to resist being scratched using these envelope type, so I guess I can be satisfied with that. Although I mean, they're still in the envelopes here, but I do also have the option, of course, of taking the discs out and putting them in separate case storage if I so chose. And I've done so with other similar types of releases, so I really I'm not in a position to complain about that too much. So just keep that in mind. But it's like this book, like a photo album type, which I love. And the box itself, it's great, which I also love. And I love the way that the book is stored. It's stored in this own little separate compartment here, like such. And then here you go, like this, and you just put it back in. And I've already spoken at length about the how much I love the booklet and the essays that are included there and the overall presentation of this. So I think it has this wonderful, robust quality. And I like the size of this. I must say that I'm a big fan. I do like, let me see if I can pull it out here, which is, for example, the now classic, uh, this is the Ingmar Bergman set, the classic set, but you can see it's huge, absolutely huge. And so I don't know, as much as I love huge sets like this, it is heavy. It's really heavy. And maybe that has to do with the number of films in it, relatively speaking, to the Pasolini set. I get that, but I do like these compact sets. That's my own personal preference, I suppose. I do like the compact sets. It's similar to, for instance, it's similar to maybe the compactness of some. Oops, the compactness. Should have prepared better here. It's similar to maybe the compactness of something like the previous Agnes Varda set, which is right here, so it looks similar to that. I like the size and dimensions of the Agnes Varda set. Also, similar to the size and dimension of the earlier World of Wong Kar-wai set. And so, in terms of size dimension, I like this. I like these sorts of dimensions as a personal preference. So that's just me. I know maybe other people prefer the larger sets as a type of in terms of adornment of shelf space, as well as the inclusion of the films. And I understand that. So, but for me personally, I do like the compact nature of this. This is a really great packaging component from Criterion. So that is my number 3 favorite. Now, getting back to this, my number 2 favorite packaging element and my number 1 favorite packaging element from Criterion. So my number 2 favorite packaging element has to be this. Okay, I've mentioned this set before, and let me mention it again. Todd Browning's Sideshow Shockers. I think this packaging is, again, digipack format. I love that design, and I love this use of color too. You open it up and it comes into this, talk about the sideshow carnival world of the bazaar type of look and feel to it. This is exactly, and all the way down to the shock of the use of the color. I think it's great, and I love that. I love the shock of the color scheme, and then this notebook quality of the booklet is just it's fantastic. Along with the use of the color and the use of foreground and background and just imagery and the icons that are the types of images that are used to present this overall sense of the unknown, to borrow the title from one of the films, as well as the homemade and the carnival sideshow aesthetic, which I think is so great. So this packaging is something I think is just overall a real treat. And so my number 2 favorite packaging element is sort of the design quality of this digipack release from the Criterion Collection for Todd Browning's Sideshow Shockers. So my number 2. That brings us to my number 1 favorite packaging element. And it's for a very recent release, spine number 1201. And it's this, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. And so I think this is my favorite. It's maybe you know what I'm going to do, what I'm going to refer to, for those who already know this release. But it's another digipack format, which I really love. So you can take it out like this. There we go. And then you see the inside. I still get a kick out of that. I think it's really cool. It is a delicate nose, so you just have to be sure that you're careful with the flap it doesn't rip or tear, it doesn't get overly folded, etc. But if you're careful with it and you put it delicately back into the case as always, you're in for a treat. It's one of these things where, you know, how should I put it? How should I put it? It's great that this is a Netflix film, and I have nothing against Netflix, and I have nothing against streaming services, but there's something so cool, and it could mean it. Maybe it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. Maybe it, in the whole grand scheme of the universe and physical media, maybe at the end of the day, things like the fold-out nose of Pinocchio, maybe at the end of the day, doesn't mean a thing. But at the same time, it is a wonderful, cute, and subtle, and very consistent reminder of just the everyday joys of physical media. You know, just the everyday joys. And I think, you know, it's not like, oh, it's because of this that I think physical media is you know, head and shoulders always better than streaming. No, it's not a statement like that at all. It's just simply put, a little bit of joy, just a little bit of joy, can go such a long way. And I think that's evident, at least for me, when I regard that little detail of a film, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, as released by the Criterion Collection. And it reminds me of the film, and I look at it, and it's so cute and it's charming, and oh yes, I remember that scene. Let's watch the film again. It has that type of effect. And so I think if anything, it's those little things that I think go a long way. And if in terms of 2023 Criterion releases, I think that's so emblematic. I love that. I really love that. So my number one favorite little packaging detail from Criterion's 2023 releases is the nose from Pinocchio. Let me just show it one more time. You have to be delicate with it, of course, but it's okay. Voila. That is really cool. That is really cool. So if you have any of your own ideas as to what physical media little treats or little treasures or little goodies stood out to you over the course of this year, please let me know. But these are my top five. So thank you very much for watching. But there's we'll have a couple more videos to go going forward.